Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 13th, 2022 at approximately 6:32 a.m. PST. I've been thinking a lot about the state this world is in, and much more importantly, correct that, not much more importantly. Very importantly to me is the empirical evidence I now have. Well, I guess it's technically subjective because you can't gauge how I'm feeling. Okay. You've all got goals. You've all got dreams of your own. Some of them have been pushed aside because of circumstance. Okay. I've had to make some adjustments to my dreams, to my goals. Just like you have. I'm no different than you are. Not from that standpoint. Okay. So, I came to an understanding this morning, and it really boils down to how you feel. From my standpoint, it's this. Okay, I've got a goal in mind. Just a very simple goal. Now, before I get into that, just a reminder. I returned to this lifetime for one primary purpose, and that is to pass on a simple message to everyone. That message, and that's everyone in existence, by the way, that message is simple. Okay, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, there are certain to be some people that are not happy with this, because some of you are still caught in this idea that in order to be successful, you've got to step on everybody below you. Okay, you've got to be the one in control. And yet, in most of your cases, what I've come to understand is if you think you have to be in control of everybody else, you've completely missed the boat. Okay, from what I've seen, from the experience I've witnessed over the years. Okay, now I'm not necessarily that old this lifetime, but my memories date back far further to than most ever do. If you believe in past lives, that works out well. Let's just say, from a past life standpoint, my age is a whole lot older than you might think. But let's stick to the chronological one to keep the majority of people in the loop. Okay, I'm 58 years old. Now, I was told growing up, you have to have your life in order. You gotta have an idea where you're heading by the time you're 20. Now, I'm pretty certain most of you have the same guidance. Do not blame your family, your parents, your teachers. Do not blame them because you made the choice to believe what they were telling you. Okay, now that being said, the experience I've seen with the amount of people I've dealt with, client wise, we're talking in excess of 80,000 over my life. Okay, and what I've found is that the massive majority of people are in their late 40s to early 50s by the time they figure out what they desire to do with their life. They don't have a career. I think if I remember the statistics from other people, because I haven't tracked people individually, I've dealt with them over a length of time en masse. But if I remember the stats correctly, most people have 3 to 5 different careers in their lifetime. Not different jobs, but different careers. Okay, myself, I started off in the hospitality industry. Okay, and I was only 9 years old when I started. That was a matter of I didn't want to be around people one on one in the first place. As it turns out, I've been reclusive most of my life. But I started off working for a family business in the hospitality industry. That lasted me 87, 20, well, from 9, let's see, 9 would be 72 to 80. Jumping Jiminy, my math is really bad today. By the way, this is a live recording, meaning I go back, double check the date, and then carry on. Okay, but anyway, I started working in the hospitality industry in 1972. I was in the hospitality industry until 1996. Okay, So we're talking 24 years. After that, I moved into the psychic industry. I've been in that now since 1996. And now I'm moving into another industry. Don't get me wrong, I'm not ending my psychic career. I'm still working on the consulting side of it, the psychic side of it. That's still there, but I've now entered into my third industry. I've gone into full-scale production as far as writing goes. That's where I'm spending the rest of my life. That career. Okay, so we get 24 in the one, we get about 24 in the other. If that holds stable, I've got about 24 years. Well, 19, about another 20 years. So that bodes well for my life length, considering I'm 58 now. That puts me close to 80 by the time I quit writing, primarily because I'm dead, which really makes it rough to write in the physical world. Now, here's the thing. Okay, all of you have more than one goal, I'm sure of it. Okay, now whether you're following a religious path, a spiritual path, a material path, it doesn't matter. You've all got you got your own goals. But this morning, I stepped on the scale. Now, I've talked to you about this often. I stepped on the scale this morning and I'm down to 206.2. I'm at this rate, I should hit my primary goal for weight wise by my birthday. Okay. Because that's in 2 months. And if I keep dropping a pound a week, that puts me under the 200-pound mark by the time my birthday hits. Which I don't know about for you, but for me, that matters a great deal. It's been a long haul. Okay. A year ago, I was up close to 200. I'd have to go back and double check. I probably should. But I was close to 220 about a year ago. Now, that may not seem like much. No, probably about 6 months ago. But anyway, that may not seem like much to you. But for me, that feeling of, quite frankly, happiness that I got when I got on the scale this morning and I broke the 207, I've only got a couple more weeks and I'll be down the lowest I've been in over a decade. Okay, because about a year ago I was 205. And then I put on a bunch of weight that I wasn't happy with, got up to 219, went, I'm not breaking 220. And here I am, down under 207. Now, again, now get this. According to the charts that I've seen, the medical charts that recommend your weights and the amount you weigh, at my height, I should be 145 pounds. Now just think about that and take a look at my frame. Don't look at my face, that's just wrong. But you look at my frame and try and imagine that being 60 pounds lighter. Now, does that sound healthy to you? Okay. Take a look in the mirror at yourself. Okay. Look at your physical body. Are you physically healthy? Like, do you feel healthy? I'll tell you, dropping 40 pounds has done wonders for my bad leg. I feel so much better. It still dislocates, but it doesn't happen as often. Okay, the other day, about 3 weeks ago, my leg buckled and I hit the floor hard. Didn't break anything, but what that feeling when I got on the scale this morning did was it told me flat out, you modify the way that you feel. You modify your health level, and you are going to feel so much better. Okay, this idea of I'm happy, I'm comfortable at 50 pounds overweight. You're probably not comfortable. You may be, but most people are not so much comfortable as they're used to it. Okay, I will tell you from practical experience, and again, see, I classify myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer you are the same ones I personally use. Okay, they are the same ones that I have used to change the energy in my life. And I'm going to surmise that when I get the rest of my house sorted out, my energy level is going to be way up here. Okay. And I'm going to have the get up and go, that feeling that I can actually accomplish things. Now, it's amazing how much that can work. And don't take my word for it. If you haven't experienced it, don't just take my word for it. But considering the fact that the path I'm following right now is driving my energy level, my sense of self up quite nicely. And that funny little sign right up here, that wood one, that one there. Okay, that says I am worth it. The four most powerful words in combination in any language I've heard. Okay, where it comes to rebuilding self-esteem, rebuilding your sense of self-worth, your prosperity levels, your drive, all of that, those four words will drive through the roof. They'll drive it into your heart. Okay, it really boils down to subliminal programming of your own, as compared to subliminal programming by what they termed in 1956, they called the idiot box. The reason being, it's saying people spend so much time staring at this thing, looking at immediate gratification, at, materialism. When you look at the computer, when you look at the TV, at the television, and today at the computer with all the marketing ads that are out there, okay, what you're getting is somebody saying that is programming your subconscious to say, buy this stuff, it'll make you better. I'll tell you right now, from practical experience, I used to be a pack rat. Take a look at your own life. Ask yourself, are you content? If the answer is yes, this is fantastic. This really is. Okay, I'm not one to tell you that at 50 pounds overweight, you're not going to feel good. I will tell you, at 50 pounds overweight, I sure as heck am not feeling good. But that drop has made me really aware that this idea, when you couple that with what my brother passed on to me, okay, my brother passed on to me a very simple message before he passed on. And that is, you have today to work with. While you're still breathing, you still have time to do things. If you postpone it, you may not get that chance. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, I've made a couple of commitments to myself, not the least of which, and I encourage you to do the same thing. If you've been out of contact with friends, with family, with that special someone, if you have been out of contact with them, and you still have a feeling here that, gee, it would be nice to reconnect. Take that idea of, it would be nice to reconnect. I'm going to wait for them to reach out. Throw that idea out the window. Get on the horn, drop an email, drop a text message, reach out, and reconnect. This world in the last couple of years has gone through a staggering change. Okay, people have been isolated. Now, from my standpoint, it really didn't hurt. Okay, I've been absolutely dead on, straightforward about it. I never did get a vaccination. Understand, I never got a vaccination for the flu or anything else once I had control over what I was doing. Okay, I just don't. I did take medication for a little bit when I had the stroke. Okay, to get my blood pressure, my sugar levels, and what have you down to normal. At this point, my weight is coming down really, really nicely, in my opinion. I'm having less troubles with blood pressure changes. Okay, so from my standpoint, I'm doing what I have to, and the reality is, even you, I know it doesn't matter to me, quite frankly, how many people you have around you. Okay, it may only be one person that you feel is giving you support. Now, the question you have to ask is, are they supporting you because they're agreeing with you? Are you seeing it as support because they're agreeing with you, or because of the fact that they're standing up and saying, hey, what you're doing isn't working? Okay, my own little brother sat down with me, and, he's been really good at supporting me from a financial standpoint. financial as in financial guidance. Now, understanding that the so-called professionals, I've always had my income tax done by so-called professionals. Every one of them, until last year, turned around and messed up my income tax. Okay, with my little brother and one other individual's guidance. Okay, I managed to get get a handle on what was going on. My credit rating is climbing. Not that I really care, because in all fairness, I'm not planning on taking another loan. Of course, we could see that change. I don't know. That's way down the road. Right now, I'm looking at my income, my financial status, and with those two people, I managed to get a handle on it and get the right questions asked to the right people. Again, if you're striving to do something, talk to somebody that knows how to do it. Okay, but talk to them now. Do not keep this idea of procrastination on. If you're following a religious path and they're teaching you to fear everything around you, okay, understand the big message from a spiritual standpoint is, if you believe in God or whatever else, or how about if you only believe in yourself? Okay, I did write a book on that one. But whoever you believe in, it doesn't matter. The reality is, you're the one that's going to have to do the work. You're the one that's going to have to say, I'm no longer waiting for success. I'm going to make it happen. Now, there's 4 things towards personal success. You've got to have a purpose, and that purpose has to be seated here. If it's not seated in your heart, you're going to fight with yourself. But once it's seated in your heart, your mind will figure out, through communication with others, through working things through on your own. I will tell you, figuring it out through communication with others can make it extremely easy. Can make it a lot easier to get past some of the common hiccups. One of the most common hiccups that people have in their relationships, where communication is concerned, you have a conflict and you break apart. You stop talking for whatever reason. One of the common mistakes that people make is, I'm going to wait for the other person to reach out. And the primary reason behind that, bear in mind, I've been looking at relationships since I was 10. The common cause of that is your ego. I'm going to feel more in control of what's going on if I wait for them to call me. Well, I'll tell you, you'll be in far better control when you go, I'm going to reach out to them. Now, I've dumped this on a lot of people, this concept on a lot of people. It's worked like a charm. I will not guarantee it'll work for you. But when you're having a conflict, if you're trying to reconnect with somebody and they're not responding, drop them one final email, text, voice message, doesn't matter. But you literally get on it, you literally drop them one last message. Do you desire to be a part of my life? Okay. If you do not respond within 3 days, I will take that as no and move on accordingly. Now, the 3 days is 3 days from whenever you drop this message. Okay. What will happen, and I've seen this happen literally hundreds of times. In all fairness, literally thousands of times. But what you'll find happen is, and there's a lot of variations on how it can happen, but they're either going to come back with, yes, I'd like to. Okay, those are the only 2 that matter. If they come back with a yes, or I would like to, you've got something to work with. Now you can move to step 2. If they come back with, no, I don't know, I need time to think about it, anything that is not a definitive yes or I would like to, okay, is a no. Okay. Now the nice part about this little message and the 3-day time limit is what you're doing is you're giving yourself a time whereby you get a definitive answer even if they don't contact you for whatever reason. Now this does not mean you cannot make another run at the relationship when they do show up. Okay, or maybe I should put that if they do show up, because not all of them do. But what it does is it gives you the freedom to move forward. And this is critically important. It does not mean the end, it means the end of your waiting. Okay. But do not put a hold on things waiting for somebody else. Okay, the only time you wait for somebody else. Now, of course, if your loved one is in the hospital, and you've still got a relationship to work with, clearly you're going to have to put things on hold until they get out of the hospital. Okay, but you got to let go of this idea of I don't want to hurt them. When you're in a relationship that looks like it's coming to an end. Okay, do not hang on to the idea of I have to, I've got to stay with them because, for whatever reason, but I don't want to hurt them. I'll tell you, in the long run, you're going to hurt yourself more than you're going to hurt them if you stay. Now, I am a firm believer, work through your problems. If you decide to commit to go common law or marriage, doesn't matter. Walking away at the first sign of trouble is a bad idea, and you will come down the road in all likelihood to regret the fact that you moved on without dealing with it. There is so much more that can be accomplished by working through your problems. And this is where that communication thing comes in. This is why I said the backbone of the home is the kitchen and living room, is the dining room and living room. Okay, pick one meal a day. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, doesn't matter. Pick one meal a day that you're going to sit down and have breakfast, have that one meal together. Shut all your electronics off and carry on because, again, this is a way of bringing the energy back together. Where it comes to society, communication is the way to turn it around. And communication does not mean he who has the biggest guns wins. That's not communication. And I will tell you, war does not bring peace. It brings quiet. Now, getting the energy in, yes, I've jumped back and forth. Welcome to the world I live in. Getting the energy in your heart working properly is a critical factor. Okay, because unless you're content here, you're going to have a heck of a time making anybody else happy. Especially given the fact that you cannot, in most cases, make somebody else happy. I will tell you, there are cases. I know of, for instance, there are some empaths that are strong enough, an empath being somebody that can physically feel what other people feel and can physically project their own feelings. There are some out there that can directly influence somebody's emotions. Okay, but more often than not, those emotions come to light because you've done something or you've turned a light on so they could see something they could do to make their own life a little better. Maybe it's a different way of looking at the world. From my standpoint, I couldn't be much more different than most. Okay, from what I've gathered. But I look at everybody and go, you're all in exactly the same boat. You're right here, right now. This is the only time in your life you'll ever change anything. Even if you postpone it till tomorrow or the next day or whatever, and rest assured, I used to be a professional procrastinator. Okay, even if you do that, when you finally get around to doing it, you're right here, right now. And that is the only time you manage to get anything done. Now, here's the other part of the good news is this. When you get things moving, you will feel and don't take my word for it. Follow the steps and see what happens. If you've done this before, I'm not going to reach everybody. That's just the reality of it. But okay, when you get to that point, you're going to be able to move forward. Okay, you're going to feel better. There is no question there at all. Keep putting these on because, well, frankly, they're not working. My eyes aren't working quite right yet. They've taken a bit of a kicker, but I finally figured out why. Okay. And no, it's not because I'm getting older and therefore you have to go blind. Okay, by the way, and I should have said this way at the beginning, but what the heck. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up Do remember to subscribe to my channel because there's a lot of information going to be coming out over the next little while. Okay. And, don't forget, hit that alert button to let you know when the next one comes up. I do my best with this particular stream to be here at least once a day. Okay. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment sections below. If you've got questions in any field, doesn't matter. Okay, I will give you an answer. It may be, I don't know, but try going this road. But, because I don't know it all. Okay, a friend of mine coined it one day years ago, probably a quarter of a century back now. In the early, so 25, 30 years back. Okay, and the way he put it was to know oneself is to know all. Okay, and realistically, the more you understand what makes you tick, the more you understand what makes you happy, the better things are going to run for you. Now, with that in mind, it's time to get up and really take a look in the mirror and go, am I content? Okay. Now, again, when you get up, get yourself sorted around, get into something that you would comfortably go out in. Okay. This idea of getting into your grubbies and what have you is fantastic if you're cleaning house. Okay. I'm in the process myself of looking at upgrading my wardrobe, which is the first time I've looked at that in, I don't know, 20 years. So it's about time, probably. Anyway, I will be back again tomorrow. Okay. Hopefully, I will see a lot more of you. My channel is slowly growing. Okay, not as fast as I'd like, but hey, this is a long game. Okay, same as I am aiming at getting down to 180 eventually. Right now, my goal for this year, for the end of this year, was to break 200. I'm pretty much on a solid track. So, tonight, as a matter of fact, right here, right now, this is the time to change your life. And you're the only one that can do it. And I'll go into this again tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I should make a note of that. But since I don't have a pen and paper that's readily available, I don't. So, anyway, I will get into it tomorrow on the method of getting to success. Okay, on how you get there and why it works. And yes, I am actually putting this into a book. Okay, but there are some very simple steps. The brief answer is you've got to have a purpose, you've got to have a plan, you've got to be persistent, and you've got to have the patience to make it work, to let it work. You didn't get to the state you're in just simply by turning around overnight and having it happen in most cases. Some of you, your life got turned completely upside down. Okay, and I do feel for you on that note. Lord knows it threw me for a loop when my brother passed. But, and I'm going to let that go. About time, anyway. About time for me. Now, I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.